Hello, my name is Jacob Farmer, and today I will be talking about whether or not the show cattle industry is humane or inhumane. All showmen know that the hardest part of the show cattle industry is the walk. The walk is a very emotional experience for all showmen because of the undeniable bond you create with your animal. Today, I'm here to tell you the real side of the show cattle industry. Being on the inside of the industry by buying, showing, and selling show cattle, I know all there is to know about the business. One thing I can tell you is the things that PETA says about the cattle industry is all wrong. All of this information is from personal experience because I've embodied every aspect of this industry. The show cattle industry is humane. That the animals are treated well, they're loved, they're like family. The show cattle industry is all about the bond between a child and his or her cattle. The show cat, according to PETA Chatter, the show cattle industry is inhumane. They say the animals don't get taken care of, and they get fed hormones and steroids. First, let's look at the everyday life of the average show steer. Show cattle are fed twice a day with all natural feed, not hormones, not steroids. All the steers are washed around 4 times a week and are treated like babies. All steers get personalized names, and when you name something, you give it an identity. And this is absolutely true. All these cattle have unique personalities and feelings that you get attached to. If people would realize that the bond between a human and a calf is as strong as it is, the show cattle industry wouldn't have as bad of a name. If people would step into the life of a cattle farmer, they would be able to see how good these cattle are treated. If people would see what happens when one of these calves coughed and immediately gets medicine, then they would really see what this industry is all about. If the show cattle industry keeps getting falsely represented by PETA and other activists, the show cattle industry will slowly disintegrate. Once it does, the beef cattle industry will decline, and once the beef cattle industry declines, then there will be no more beef to eat. And I know that most Americans like burgers, fajitas, steak, things like that. In conclusion, we all know that the show cattle journey ends at the meat market. However, the time that these cattle have here on earth is golden. They're babied, pampered, spoiled, all of the above. All in all, the show cattle industry is humane. Heck, these cattle are treated better than most humans. I know here at my barn that we treat our cattle like our own kids. They eat before we do. These cattle are treated unlike anything else, and they stay that way for all year long until they have to take the walk. And nobody knows about the walk until it actually happens to you. And once you take the walk, then you really realize that that bond that you have been creating all year long is now gone. But then again, you have to realize that the time that they had here was, probably the best that they had ever got. It's probably better than them going to a feedlot or something in that regards. And so now that leads me to my visual aid. And so I put the show cattle industry is humane. I bold it is because it is. Like, I know from personal experience it is, because the things that we do for this cattle are crazy. And then I drew a young boy and a show calf, and I put hearts over both their heads because they both have feelings, not just one of them. And I said that the bond is what makes this industry so strong, because that's so true. If that bond wasn't there, then they wouldn't have show cattle. They would just send everything to the meat market straight away. And that bond has to be there because when you're a 100-pound kid, some of these kids are smaller than that, and you're messing with a 1,300-pound animal, there has to be a bond there. That way they don't just drag you across the ring. And then I put this over here because it's so true as well. And I put it's more than just a cow. Most people see it as just a cow, but it's not. They have feelings, they have emotions. They know what everything's going on. And that's why we treat them the way we do, is because if they didn't have feelings, they wouldn't be treated like they are. But we know that, and that's why we treat them